All right, Mayorkun Ilo, economist and public affairs analyst, joins us now to make sense of all of this. Mayorkun, it's nice to see you this morning.
Nice to see you.
Great.
Yeah, thank you.
Right. I wonder what you make of this. You know, when issues like this, coronavirus or economic issues come up, certainly the agency is responsible. They see and they can gauge and they can weigh the pulse of the economy and take decisions. For the average man on the streets, sometimes he doesn't know what GDPs are and how these things translate to. For him, he just wants food on the table, or he has a good to sell and he wants to sell it and get profit and all of that. Break it down for us in simple terms. What does this mean for the economy now, this move by the Central Bank of Nigeria, especially in reduction of the interest rates from 9 to 5%?
Well, I will say it's a step in the right direction, but sadly, it's more or less a drop in the ocean. For those who have benefited from special interest rates from the CBN, they will be happier. But in terms of the volume of those affected in the larger context of the economy, it's not much. Coronavirus is not about some segments of the economy, it's about the whole economy. Okay, those people get maybe to pay 5% instead of 9% interest on their loans through CBN. Their special intervention fund of about 50 billion naira. 50 billion naira is so small in the context of what we are dealing with. Look at United States, almost $1 trillion. That's the GDP of Nigeria in almost 3 places because of coronavirus. UK brought 15%. That's about 330 billion UK pounds sterling. You know, about 15% of their GDP at the beck and call of their businesses. That is how far they are willing to go. It's about psychology and it's about assurance. The 50 billion naira, I don't know, I can't put it in my head how many millions of dollars that amounts to. It's like a drop in the ocean. It's not going to make the desired impact.
But looking at the impact in all these countries you've mentioned and here in Nigeria, could that have been what guided the CBN team now in arriving at this detail?
No. It's just we want to be seen to be doing something. If we are really serious about tackling coronavirus, this issue is multi-level, multi-sectoral, multidisciplinary, high-level kind of attention that needs to be given to it. I don't see that. You can't have, yesterday I was watching the Chancellor of the Exchequer in UK. You don't see him away from the Prime Minister. That is to tell you that whatever it is we are doing, the NHS director too will be there. When you see Trump on the news talking about coronavirus, you will see the Vice President, you will see heads of ministries and parastatals, about 10 of them behind him.
We are seeing intertwining now.
You know, because it's like
they're all connected.
When there are some kind of ailments you have in the hospitals and you don't see one doctor, you see a team
of doctors
around you, so that based on what you say, they will tell you that this guy here is the specialist for this. Okay, come in and say this. So I don't yet see that. And you know, for all we are trying to do, we thank God that, okay, at least yesterday, there's this notice that Nigerians should refrain from traveling out. But even up till now, it has not been said that we are shutting down our borders. You know, where eagles dare to fly, I don't know what kind of confidence. I don't know if it's religion or it's our usual habits that's making us to be so confident that when the whole world is shrinking, even Europe now, nobody is talking Schengen again.
Oh, yeah,
Israel.
Yeah, but Nigeria has been commended, you know, for being able to handle the situation.
Well, the devil will always be in the details. So far, you know, we have been able to do it the way we see it, you know. But like they say on the streets now, our egungun should be careful. You know, it's some masquerade.
Okay.
Some news are coming out on social media now, whether true or false. If they are not nipped in the bud, it will cause paranoia on the streets. True. We had the issue of the new refinery on the highland. True. Somebody there. How true it is, we are yet to know. We found out that maybe as at this morning. There's another one I read about in Ogba.
the ministry has come out that he's
That-
negative.
the-
The testing
the-
are negative.
yes.
Okay, so that would be a good one for us.
All right, we have to leave you here now. Mayorkun Ilo, thank you so much for your time on the program.
You are-
We have with us Mayorkun Ilo, an economist and public affairs analyst, joining us now to bring us insight into this. Mayorkun, good morning.
Good morning.
Nice to see you.
Thank you very much.
Great. Now, a lot of people have projected or are predicting that from the impact of the coronavirus, we could likely see a recession across countries going forward or after this the coronavirus. What are you seeing in that regard?
Well, I concur strongly. Even the president of America, despite his usual blustering self, has admitted that a recession is in the offing. What CBN here is doing, it's a good step in the right direction, but we need to synchronize. We are not doing that, and the devil is always in the details. If 50 billion naira, for instance, maybe it's about $200 million or thereabout, it's a small amount in the larger context of what COVID-19 represents to the global economy. US, as at yesterday night, listening, watching CNN, they're already thinking of sending direct checks to the American people. That's how impactful they know
Of
this is going to be.
$1,000 each, if
Or
possible.
more. You know, you just open your mail, you see $1,000 in the check. Just take it, just to stimulate their economy. In UK, they are telling people, okay, if you need loan to take you through this period, some have gotten as far as giving tax holidays. Say, okay, for your
Absolutely.
businesses over this next period, don't pay tax on it, just to make sure that people keep, because at the end of the day, we are sustained by the taxes and the businesses that we do. Nigeria too is having a lot of challenges in terms of the crude oil that we can't seem to find customers for, among other things. Even Dubai, that lives on tourism, they have had to shut their borders. We will get through it. You know, the whole issue is to recognize that your human capital is the highest form of capital. It's more than money, it's more than taxes, it's more than any other thing you can think of. We should not think in terms of, okay, crude oil, where are we getting money? We should not close our border. We cannot be more Catholic than the Pope. You know, if countries that have more at stake are taking all the measures that they can take, why should Nigeria be the one, you know, playing footsie?
So would you subscribe to these tax holidays that we've seen being introduced in other countries, hard hit by this coronavirus impact now?
Yes.
Do you see a place for this implementation here in Nigeria?
There's always a place with a good planning. You will recall that about a year ago, there was this trader money that was being talked about. The issue I have with that is, after that exercise, nobody talks about documentation of it. And where there is no data, you wouldn't even know the impact of whatever it is you are trying to do. If you collect $1,000 from the American government, it's well documented. 30 years from now, if I want to know whether you took that $1,000, all I needed to do was to check their accounts at the various departments. We have all these ministries, but they are not working in concert. If Ministry of Health, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Trade, and all these labor and the rest of it, if they work as a united team, you'll be surprised that we can pull through this. Countries normally do.
Yeah, you just agree to the fact that data is available in some of those countries. And in Nigeria, we have often complained, or at least observed, that data is not, or accurate data or adequate data is not available. Is it not likely that maybe that is the reason why the central bank couldn't come up with more of that drastic buffer?
Well, we have the Federal Office of Statistics, so if anybody works with them, it should be the CBN. So maybe because they are, you know, they have to do this, they want to be seen to be independent, but we don't need your independence in this regard. We need you to play along with, or even
other
lead
agencies,
other agencies
right,
in doing all this. So data is very important. If we have not come to that realization, we have to do it. People have their own reasons for not wanting to be data-led, but people say if you cannot measure it, you cannot manage it. Modeling is what countries are doing now. They are modeling the impact of that coronavirus on their economy now. Okay, let me tell you something. UK, over the past 2-3 weeks, the strategy they are using is different from the strategy some other countries are using. What they were trying to do is not to suppress the COVID-19. They wanted to slow it down so that their citizens can develop a natural immunity against the virus. But they found out that there was a study by, I think, Oxford University yesterday that was telling them that this strategy that you are using will cost you more in terms of lives of your citizens. Maybe about 250,000 UK citizens have been projected that they will die if they follow that strategy. So if they suppress it, less people will die. Even US was said that they will lose about 1 million citizens to this COVID-19. So if countries are taking it serious, it's not because they just want to be seen to be doing something, it's because they have seen what is in the pipeline. Nigeria does not, we don't have the medical capacity to deal with a surge in this COVID-19. Take it from me, if we have 30 cases in this Lagos, paranoia will spread. And when that does, it will do more harm to the economy. So don't wait for it to come to you. Lock your borders, do whatever needs to be done, and suppress it. We don't have to experience whatever other people are experiencing because we don't have the capacity to do it.
All right. Well, some person said, well, we contained Ebola, so we can contain this one way or the other. A lot of persons have said that, but how? Because we are a praying country. Yeah, but anyway, we still commend the National Center for Disease Control and the federal government in the efforts they're trying to do. Yeah. Thank you very much, Mayorkun Ilo, for coming on the program.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Well, Mayorkun Ilo, he's an economist and public affairs analyst, joins us now for more on this subject. Thank you very much for joining us again on the program. Well, we still focus on, how Nigeria will be affected by the coronavirus pandemic. There's also, of course, heightened discussions now, this time from the Senate, talking about the budget, the valuation of the Naira as well as the stoppage of payment of subsidies to fuel marketers. How does this all fit in this move?
Well, let me take the oil. The budget was benchmarked on about $57 per barrel. It's trading as at yesterday at about $31 per barrel. The impact of that is that because of the cost of the oil that has come down, we are going to have maybe cheaper oil coming in. By now, if the federal government were to be very active, the price of petroleum products should have declined. I can't give you the figures.
But it never comes down in Nigeria, eh?
I saw a news item from the Minister of State for Petroleum yesterday that they are considering it. So maybe you never can tell. Maybe in the coming days, you might have cheaper petroleum products at the pumps.
Nothing bad there.
It's a good development. But the flip side of it is because we depend on crude oil for our foreign exchange. So that means revenues too we tank. We have less than $40 billion in our external reserves, and for crying out loud, the ones that suffer most may be the capital expenditure part of the budget. The recurrent, maybe government will try tooth and nail fight to be able to pay salaries, but the major infrastructural, prompts of the government may have to take a backseat for now in the face of global recession. Nigeria is a country that has been struggling. Even without global recession, we've been having our own challenges growing the economy. So with this, is like a compound, like Fela would say, double wala for dead body.
All right, now, as it is right now, considering the size of our economy and our peculiarity, what measures will the central bank on one hand and the federal government on the other take that will be adequate enough to handle the situation around this coronavirus?
I think we are going to need a fiscal stimulus in addition to monetary policies that are targeted at maybe affecting the supply of money and helping people to have funds at their disposal. One department or agency cannot do it. There has to be a multi-level, multi-sectoral, high-level assessment team that are looking into this on an hour. It's not even, you can't do daily basis now. Every hour, Trump must have come out not less than 2 or 3 times, yesterday, coming out, talking to the people, the vice president too, they bring the CDC share in the US. They have a team of experts that are talking as things are developing, because this is novel. I was going through the WHO website earlier, and They said this is not an epidemic. I now look at it. Nigeria is treating a pandemic like an epidemic. Epidemic is spreading through communities, is fast, but pandemic essentially means global. Nowhere is safe. France calls it a war. Absolutely. Because the tools of war are being deployed. When you say, okay, for a country that is touted to be the bastion of freedom, and now they are telling you sit down in your house at the risk of being arrested, that means something is coming. So they are not taking it lightly. Nigeria should not be seen to be playing catch up in this game. Otherwise, when we are overwhelmed, we have more than we can chew on our plates.
Mayorkun Ilo, thank you very much for your insights on this issue.
You're welcome.